In forward strike, 12 can combo into Light Punch NDL and EX NDL for medium normals due to the reduced startup. You need to be close for LP NDL to combo, but when hitting late in its active frames, it can stuff mashing and prevent jumps. The vacuum effect on Axe, as well as the increased damage on the first hit, allows 12 to tack on extra damage from a mix-up, only leaving him -1 on hit, I think. You can go from jumping Light Punch into standing Medium Punch, but the timing is very strict. Connecting the Medium Punch allows you to go into Medium Axe, which you can now cancel on the second hit for easier timing at the cost of some damage. This also allows you to actually react to if you hit or not, so you don't waste meter using a super on the opponent's guard and suffer an even worse punish. As a side note, you cannot typically combo into Axe on standing hit with this combo route, and must use NDL. Using EX NDL is more efficient and much safer than super if the opponent blocks. If the opponent for some reason attempts a red parry at your special cancel, then NDL works as a low to make the opponent guess which direction to parry at that point. EX Koko, if timed well, notably reduces the effective startup of your mix-up from air dash, as well as giving 12 somewhat safer mix-up from certain knockdowns. A new trick you can use for Koko is tied to the new EX input. You can negative edge, or hold and release the buttons, to input the air dash. Down forward medium punch was added as an interesting alternative to using Axe and back medium kick as anti-airs. There's a notable difference in the parry timings between Axe and down forward medium punch, but I'm not entirely sure if there's enough of a difference. SA2, X-Flat, got a facelift. Grounded SA2 links off of crouching light punch, combos from chain to crouching light kicks, and otherwise combos from mix-up and EX NDL at most ranges in the corner. At certain ranges you can get a reset combo off of standing medium punch and standing medium kick, and you can also super jump into the air version after your standing medium kick at further ranges. Since SA2 has 2 bars, you are able to combo after EX NDL at any range with the air version, well, this might be character specific, and with the grounded version at close ranges in the corner. SA2 is less consistent and has less total damage than SA1, and lacks SA1's specific utility. Makes up for it with higher stun and damage per combo. Here's a damage comparison. If you have trouble doing some of the super cancels, there are buffering tricks you can use to make things easier for you. For example, do 1/4 circle when attacking from an air dash or when first pressing crouching light kick, then finish the super input. For the chained kicks, the input was 2k, 3, 6, 2k, 3, 6k. Here are some damage and stun comparisons between the different routes with SA2 in the corner. Note the amount of stun after using the medium kick reset. An interesting consequence of the Axe vacuum change and how SA2 hits is that you can pull opponents out of the corner before going for Oki. Sadly, because of how parry works, the overhead part of the cross-up can be avoided through option select. Thankfully 12 has enough time after SA2 to feint the jumping heavy kick into a low or a throw. The side swap blow is only worth going for if you have the meter the super again, otherwise you're leaving yourself in the corner while minus after X. Throw is more rewarding than normal because you obviously want a back throw after swapping into the corner, and 12's back throw gives more time for Oki. If you don't want to deal with opponents randomly choosing the quick recover on the ground or not, you can super jump after your standing medium kick and air dash. You need EX air dash for jumping medium punch to be useful without committing to SA2, but that's about the same as learning the timing for using jumping heavy punch instead. I can't tell if I was catching the one frame of standing hurt box with heavy punch. All the different parts of this tech feels character specific, even the walk up medium kick after the EX NDL. With some timing you might be able to make the EX air dash into jumping heavy kick work without having the super jump cancel, as an idea to make the mix up more difficult to defend against. I really tried to explore the air dash and the EX air dash along with the wall jump. It seems like using the EX makes the wall jump faster. I wouldn't necessarily put much weight in the examples shown, and I don't know if someone would try to dash away instead of just go for a throw when you attempt to cross up low after that SA2 tech I showed earlier. I couldn't really find the time to mention this earlier, but using jumping light kick causes 12 to float down instead of continue with the same momentum he had. This is useful for tick throws, but also to vary up the timing of said tick throws after an air dash. If you think the opponent is going to try to throw defensively at light punch timing, then using light kick opens them up to a punish with standing medium punch combos. Have some more air dash stuff, and a 2-touch example using EX NDL into standing medium kick mix up first, instead of using axe into SA2 route first. Time for just my thoughts, both as a player and as someone with a strong interest in game design. It's kind of crazy comparing all of this to vanilla. I've seen people often enough comment that 12 would be top tier if he had somewhat better frame data and wasn't more easily destroyed by parries. I don't actually know if all of this is enough to get him there, but my impression is that he's far from bottom tier now. As an aside, something interesting I couldn't find the place to talk about is using crouching heavy punch as a safer chip out alternative to axe, since 12 heavy normals deal chip damage now. Losing the multiple hits of sweep on block is a little tragic, all things considered. At choice range, I've seen crouching heavy punch cause certain reversals to hit, but fail to launch, resulting in the defender being punished and losing anyway. Besides that, I feel like there's a strong imbalance between 12's high and low threats for mix-up. The standing medium punch confirmed from air dash light punch is also too difficult for anyone outside of high level play to be reasonably consistent with at all, considering how integral it is to get anything more than just a tap into axe like before. At least the tap into axe seems real now because of the pull-in, but it's a strange position to be left minus in either way. A possibly unfair comparison I can make is Ina from Guilty Gear having more routes from an overhead hit from her considerably fast hover dash mix-up, where she lacks meterless confirms off of lows. However, knockdown from a signature special attack, or just sweep, gives her projectile coverage for her Oki. Ina also lacks meterless routes outside of the corner, so you still need the guess right more than once after winning exchange or neutral before being able to see any real damage. 12 being able to combo into EX NDL is great, but he has nothing that isn't ridiculously high committal and meter intensive off of lows. I don't think his air dash game is remotely strong enough to warrant this, considering how easy it is for things to go horribly wrong for 12 just from slight variations in timings and how an opponent might play defensively. Personally, not being able to parry out of air dash is especially tragic. Since the air dash itself, without EX, is so slow for startup and travel time, I don't think being able to parry during it would actually be that problematic. The addition to SA3 was really interesting to me since the counter super is a counterweight to how X copy is supposed to function. Extend even allows for some mild punishes on top of the heal depending on what you countered, but is primarily a defensive tool meant to help save you from being on the back foot, where X copy is a reward of sorts for gaining the upper hand without EX. Theoretically, you can spend meter on an EX NDL and go for medium. Theoretically, you can spend the meter on EX NDL, go for super jump air dash mix up after the standing medium kick reset, then tick throw and have the meter to activate X copy. I haven't tested that since the idea hit me in post as I'm recording audio for this. Anyway, The problem with X-Copy is that 12 doesn't have any workable meteorless knockdowns besides its throw in a few anti-air situations. He can't just be ignorant and throw it out in neutral, or at least I imagine he shouldn't. You can't close the distance and super cancel from a normal and blocker hit. Well, my solution is a little reckless, but I think X-Copy should allow for EX use. I'd like to first test infinite EX, but with a faster bar joint if possible, either naturally or the timer reduces every time you do something or get hit. Alternative ideas would be a limited amount of EX, like using EX shortens the timer, and using whatever super you copied from the opponent would just end X-Copy after you recover from it. The spirit of X-Copy in design to me would be allowing the 12 player to have full access to whatever options the opponent has in exchange for, well, paying for it. There are a variety of ways you could approach just the super alone. Outside of that, I'd imagine making one of the specials cause a small launch or something without having meterless combo potential to keep EX at NDL relevant. On that note, I think NDL needs some touching up. It's well into post and I'm not bothering to double check this as I record, but if the tentacles don't count as a separate object for the sake of the parry freeze, then it should work like that. My ideal for it would be the combo into Light Punch NDL off of Light Normals, and for NDL to either be plus or cause an immediate hard knockdown to give SA3 activation room. If activating SA3 after hitting with a hex left you plus enough to at least have a mix-up, if not be able to combo off of that, which I'm not sure of the numbers, that would be really fun. My real tweak isn't possible with how the meter is coded, I think. What I think would be the most minimal change would be if SA3 had a tiny bit of extra meter after what the game would take to use X-Copy, so you could use EX and still X-Copy afterwards. The excess meter after activation could contribute to the super's timer, or being able to use a single EX after activation. Maybe setting it up like Alex's changed SA3 would work with the multiple short bars, but I don't know if that would have any issues meshing with how installs are set up since I haven't seen the code. Speaking of installs, apparently all of 12's normals have super attack properties like with the other install supers, which I imagine just for 12 is intended to bully with the same tools and spacing, rather than to use the other characters' superior pressure and mix-up. 12's offensive options should be his own flavor and ideal, hence the point of picking 12 over other characters, rather than paying to play a better character for a little while, and I think my take was the developer's intent unless I'm provided with proof otherwise. It's just really strange to see an oversight from the developers underestimating how much of a difference EX makes for the number of characters. It'd be worse if this was a fully informed decision. Anyway, besides some further tweaks to the framed out of certain normals, like making standing medium kick plus if not even a block and speeding up standing heavy kick for just 2 examples, 12 feels like he's in a really good place as it stands. There eventually has to be a point where as a developer you have to call it good enough, and this is the 12 we are left with at the end of it all, and I can't rightly complain considering where he was in vanilla.